Hey, welcome to Rust Revival Garage. My name is Tim. One of the things I had to get taken care of before I go on the 2024 Power Tour is I need to get these vent windows taken care of. So I'm going to try to rebuild a vent window for the first time ever. The seals that are on there are not bad, but how do I know that they are not in great shape? Well, let me show you. First of all, the windows do not open at all. You can sort of move the little handle back and forth, but they just do not open at all. So, you know, if it were just the seals, so if it were just that, it would be one thing, but I've also got to replace the seals because if you should be able to hear this right now. Window is closed, vent window is as closed as it's going to get, and both of these things are whistling like crazy. Might even be able to see some daylight coming through that one right there. Another discovery I made is my cruise control does not work. I know a lot of that stuff that I'd taken it apart when I replaced the engine, but I don't think I got it back together correctly again, or it didn't work to begin with. But I did take it out on the road, test it above 25 miles an hour. It doesn't really do anything. There was no setting it or resuming to get it to work, so that doesn't work. The other thing I've discovered is, I'm not sure if you saw the last video, but I was talking about how there's a bit of a shake in the truck while I'm driving in the 55 to 65 mile an hour range. Did notice that when I was just cruising down the road, the steering wheel is a little bit to the left, and even when it's to the left, truck still wants to veer a little bit off to the right. So I'm wondering if I were to get an alignment done, I'm wondering if maybe that would solve some of my problems. You know, if there's a shake, it could be related. You know, it's not bad, but if I'm cruising down the road, it just does slowly want to go off to the right. Never really noticed it before, because again, I'm just sort of testing all these things out, and I have a feeling that maybe I give that alignment a try, and maybe that could help. All right, enough talking. Time to rebuild the vent windows. Let's get to it. Again, that's as far as it goes. It does come apart a little bit, but it is leaking pretty bad through that seal. Like I said, the seal doesn't look terrible. Somebody might have even tried to replace this at one time, but it's, you know, it's something must be going on with the spring that's down in there, and or there could just be an issue with how they reinstalled it. But again, I need to try. I've got a new seal, and I need to try to see if I can get the whistling to go away as well. So I think it's just this one bolt, which I believe is 7/16. Yep. So I'm going to take that out and get the vent window out. I should probably put the it doesn't feel like it's just one bolt. How do you come off? See, now I've actually got a screw here and another one here, and this one, this bracket appears to sort of wrap around the vent window, and it looks like it is attached to help keep this mirror on. So I don't know. I'm going to see if I can take the screws out and see if I can get this around and out. And looks like I found another one up here on top. So I'll try to take that one out, and hopefully that will allow me to free this up. looks like I am gonna have to take out yep. So this has got to come off, and I've got to take off the mirror. So there's a screw down here that's got to come off. That will allow me to raise this up and undo the bolt that's in there. There's that one there, and I think that's smaller than a 7/16. Of course, rain is coming, so I've got to sort of seal this all back up as best as I can. And there's that little bolt that's got to come out. Now, do I have enough room problem is the window is in the way. Time to be replacing the, there we go. Do not break the glass, Tim. There we go. Got our vent window out. Was not easy. Alright, so I messed up. Got a hardware kit that I thought would include this rivet, because I've got to drill this rivet out, and I did not get the right kit. I got a hardware kit. It just has some screw replacements and that sort of thing. It's almost more for the vent window itself. And I got 2 new springs to replace these. And then I've also got 2 kits to replace the window locking mechanism, but I did not get the rivet kit, so I'm going to have to order that. But I can still take everything apart and at least get started. Okay, so I did lube this up with a little PB blaster, and hopefully that'll make things go a little smoother. There are these tabs that I need to push away. Alright, so there's one side, and there's the other. And then this is a 1/2-inch nut on here. I wonder if one of the reasons why this wasn't moving very well is there is a lot of tension on this. I mean, a lot. See, because look how easy this window moves now. I mean, I could have actually, if I didn't have to deal with the seal, now I'm kind of wondering if I just deal with the whistling and I make sure I can open this thing up. I replace the spring. Don't mess with that rivet. Replace this that's kind of janky, and hopefully it operates correctly. I think I'm going to do that. This seal isn't in terrible shape. I mean, it's a little crusty, but I think maybe I can deal with the trip if I've just got a little bit of whistling in there. All right, so I've got the nut off. I've got this little piece that is the tabs that come down. I'm going to have to keep it in order so I know exactly how it goes back on. Then I've got the spring. And then this looks just like a basic washer, but it does have flat sides on it. So it's not an actual rounded washer. It does have flat sides on it. And there is another washer, and this one is just a straight regular washer. Alright, so here's, keep those lined up. And yeah, I'm seriously debating just adding a new spring, putting the hardware back on, not having it quite as tight, as long as I can still open and close my window. Then I don't necessarily have to. I can still replace these at some point. But until I get the rivet out and can put a new rivet back in, I might just stick with what I've got in here right now. Now, let's go ahead and take this off and rebuild that setup. Okay, to get this out, I've got to knock this little pin. If you can see it or not, but there's a little pin sticking out right there. I think if I can get it. This nail might be a little too thick. I'm gonna try it with a hammer, not the smartest thing I've ever done. And well, didn't we know that was gonna happen? So, looks like I gotta rebuild the whole thing and buy some new glass too. Yeah, I just cannot get that pin out of there. Oh my God. It should have just been easy to just tap that pin out, take the piece apart. Should have been so easy. I broke drill bits. Yeah, it was not easy, and I have broken it. Oh my God, I cannot believe I broke that glass. I mean, I can believe it, but that's about as sad as a Fast and Furious sticker on a minivan. Okay, so I realized that I did not correctly record it, but kind of wanted to show you. Like I said, there is a rivet that's in between here and here, and I used a fairly small drill bit, but I wanted to make sure that I used a drill bit that was smaller than the hole. And as you can see, this one easily fits in there. It's not catching at all, because the whole point is to actually just sort of drill out the part of the bottom of the rivet where it's sort of holding it in. And I didn't have to drill all that far, but it was just really a matter of drilling into it, and then I was just able to pop the rivet out. And so that worked fairly well, and I kind of wanted to show you just in case you were following along. Then down here, the only thing I had to watch out for is when I took this out, this was in here first, and then this sort of half-rounded washer was in there second. So it was like this. So the regular washer was up against the bottom, and then on top of that was this washer. So to get this out, as you can see, this is sort of squared, sort of flat edges on this side. I was able to then just slowly take it up till I got out to about right there, and then I was able to slide these two pieces out. And then that's how I got the frame all the way out and away from the vent window. The frame's still in good shape, so there we go. Just need to get the frame, and I think maybe I'll need the this piece, the rubber that's inside there, and some of the glue, so I can put that glass back in. Okay, got it sanded a bit, and I'm going to give it a coat of paint. It's going to at least look better when I get the glass back in it. That's looking a little better. Alright, got the track out. Now I'm going to bend back these tabs. Yours may not have tabs, yours may have rivets. Oh, how do I get this out? There we go. Okay, there's the old outer side in, and hopefully I've got the tabs separated enough. There we go. And there's the inside. Getting the old adhesive out. Sprayed it with a little bit of acetone. It's scraping right off. I'm gonna make it work better, might as well make it look better. One thing I don't want to do is get paint down in the groove where the new rubber seals are gonna go, because that could make it harder to get those to slide along. Okay, so here's my old one. It's basically shaped like this, so this is gonna be my left one, which is the driver's side one, and so I've got those pieces ready to go. I'll put a quick couple coats of paint on this one. I'm actually using the VHT roll bar and chassis paint. And look what I just found in my shoe. This project just keeps getting better and better. Okay, my frame got a nice fresh coat of paint on it. The main exposed parts of the vent window looking good. Probably a little shinier than I'd like, but I can live with it. Alright, time to put on the rubber seals. Alright, here we go. I'm going to try a little soapiness on here to see if I can get this to slide well and fit on here. And I can just see me cutting my hands. Alright, so it looks like I've got it centered on here, but getting that crushed down in is not going to be easy. Alright, let's get some more of the soapy goodness on there. This is going to make a heck of a mess, but it's going to be better than fighting with it the whole time, because rubber on metal does not tend to want to move very well. The other thing to think about is this has pretty much got to match up with this piece to fit over either side. Don't want to tear it. Just splash myself with soap. If I could just get it started. starting to work. Like I said, I don't want to tear anything. Pulls it right out though. I guess the trick is to get it lined up at the bottom. I know I can't really show you. All right, well, I'm gonna keep fighting with this and see what I can come up with. All right, it's not on. It is on all the way around and tucked into where it's supposed to be. But now I've got to go along and actually get it down into the tracks. I do sort of have the tracks right here. The problem I was having is every time I would lift it up, it would pull it back out, lift it up, pull it back out. So I figured try to get it all in and where it's supposed to be first, and then see if I can tuck it down in so that it won't pull it back as much. Okay, that was a workout and a half, but I've got it all on. What I had to do, just to sort of give you an idea, since I couldn't do it and film it at the same time, I would actually push the rubber down into the groove, hold it there, and then move it along and push it down into the next one. Push it, hold it down, and then I just kept working, because like as soon as I would push it down, it would just lift right back up. So what I was doing was jamming it down in, holding on to it, jamming it down in, holding it onto it, and so on until I just worked my way all the way around. And so I've got that on. What I need to do now is put on this piece. You can see it looks like it may not be very much different, but I do know this little piece here that has the little groove in it, the little plastic piece right there, that goes at the bottom. And so what we're going to do is get a little bit of adhesive. I'm going to use some spray adhesive, spray it along right through here, slide this in, and then bend the tabs down. Okay, I'm gonna get it in up here at the top, get it in at the bottom, and then I'm gonna work my way from the middle back out. If I can just get, there we go. All right, I've got all my pieces in. I'm gonna wipe off this glue. That, of course, I just got on my shiny new paint. And so the little tabs are in here. Like I said, starting from the middle, bending it down, going back to the other side, and then just expanding out. I'm just pushing the tab down with the screwdriver. In theory. So there, I've got all the tabs bent down, except this one. And I've got this piece pretty tight. Actually, I didn't paint this side, so I think I'm going to touch that up now. But yeah, all right, I've got the seals on. Now I'm just waiting for glass, and I can put the glass back in the frame, and we can drop that back in. Okay, so I've got to do this other window on this side, and I kind of realized that I didn't show how to take off the door panel. So I figured I would do it on this side because this door panel is attached. Screws down here, two in here for the door handle. If you've got these, you've got to snap these off. And if I find anything else, I'll let you know. And I need to get these off. Something interesting about this side, that little bar that goes across from the mirror is not on this side. Now, it just may be my truck, they never put it back on, but it's not on here. The other thing is, it only has one screw instead of the two screws on this side and the top one. This top one was attached to nothing, it just basically spun and came out. So yours may not look exactly the same if you're doing both windows. There is no hole on this side for a top screw. There's only one for this bottom screw. Now the other thing I kind of wanted to point out was the problem I had getting it out the last time. This little piece here kind of indents out and I was having trouble getting it past. Same thing with up here. It was catching on the track, sort of the weather stripping that's inside this window here. So that was how I got mine out, is getting it sort of worked around. I had to use a screwdriver to sort of expand it out to allow me to pull it out. All right, so I got the new weather stripping pieces that are going to basically run the length of the vent window, and I got some very well wrapped glass. There's my glass piece, and then this is the sort of like rubber piece that goes around, folds around the outside of the glass, and then we use that to tuck it inside the frame. And then the other thing that was in here, little screw set. These are the two hinge rivets. These other ones you can see are a little smaller, but this is the kit if the back of your glass doesn't have the tabs. If it actually had rivets along here, that's where you'd be tapping those rivets in. But because mine has tabs, I don't need these rivets, but it's got this tool that allows you, it's got a little tip on it that covers over the rivet head, lets you tap it down and expand, sort of mushroom out the hinge rivet to keep it on there. Well, they certainly give you a lot of extra. Basically, you just need to cover from here up to the top, almost the top of the glass. So really, so I don't have to cut too much. Cut once is better than cutting twice. We just need to cut it off down around here. Problem. This glass is way too big. Fudge. Like, yeah, it's not curved the same. It's like even if I had it there at the top curve, this thing is huge. Fudge. Alright, so I cannot finish up that one until I get new glass again. And it probably cost me more to send it back than it would be to get a refund, so maybe if I ever get a 70s C10, I'll have glass for it. But I guess I can go ahead and finish up the passenger side now. One of the things I didn't have to do on the last one was clean out a lot of this because it'll kind of rotted away. But it's just a matter of chipping away and getting all that old weather stripping. And this is sort of where the window track, where your window goes up and down. And so you want to get this out so you have access to those tabs. Okay, this one actually seems considerably worse, but the one thing I noticed, the rivet was already gone. It's not connected. So it's a good thing I was doing this. Yeah, this one it's in a lot worse shape. So yeah, I just don't think I can risk trying to get that dowel pin out again, because I don't want to break this glass too. Oh my god, I actually think I got this one out. I used this punch, put a little PB blaster in there, and it's starting to move out. I think I can actually replace this one without breaking the glass. Broke it into little tiny bits. Pulled it off section by section. But I got that out. Now I don't know why this isn't coming off. But at least I have that pin out of there. And I didn't break the glass. Alright, so I got it off. I just had to do a little twisting. If you can see, I'm not sure if you can see there's a little Torx bit in there. So I'm going to have to keep this motionless, get that torque bits out so it doesn't tighten up and break the glass. And here were the pieces that kind of shot out. The spring came firing out on this piece. So yeah, this is the plug that goes up in there. And the spring goes on the back of that and goes down in there. Yeah, there's the Torx. It looks like it's T30. Okay, it's one of those wonky springs that helps push it back up. The Torx bolt. And that's it. Then on the other side, we've got the little solid piece and a rubber sort of washer. Okay, I'll get this cleaned up and put the other new one back on. Here's my new kit. This is all that it comes with, so it's really the same things I took out. The only difference is there are two different springs. There is two different sort of size gaskets. This one, the old one I know, will be this. And what I think is, just did a quick internet research. So I know that this will be, but this one is thicker than this one. And I think that there are two different styles of glass. There is a thick glass and a thin glass. And I think with the 8187, it is a thin glass. And I believe you're supposed to use the thin washer. If you have the thick glass, you use the thick washer. Not quite sure. If anybody knows any different, let me know down in the comments. But that's how I'm going to set it up. So then here's that cap. And I believe this thinner one goes on here like that. And this looks pretty thick. It's much bigger than these two, the old one. And they're about the same thickness, but that one's a little thicker. So I'm going to assume that that's the thicker one. These two I'm going to set aside. The springs, I don't see much difference at all. Again, it might be a difference of glass. So I'm just going to take one away and hope for the best. And then here's my new dowel pin that goes in there. The new sort of spring washer. And the button that goes on. Alright, I think I just need to assemble this. Alright, so this is the outside of the glass. I've got the little button with a the rubber washer on it. And of course my neighbor's mowing his yard behind the car barn. Alright. Okay. Then okay, now I'm going to put the little rubber piece on. Then the wave washer. Then this. Then the spring, like this, the little button drops in, and it's got 2 grooves down in it so that this can't spin. So there, I've got the button in. Got the little button in and it's locked in the little grooves. Put the little spring in. Actually, first I think I need to do that. So basically I'm just taking the Torx bolts, tightening it down on here. That's good and tight. Then and I lost the spring. Alright, other spring's right here. And I'm going to try it from upside down. There we go. So yeah, look, it will lock into place. It'll lock into place. You push the button down and you can turn it back, take it back off. The spring washer is working, so it's lifting it back and forth. I don't have any extra pieces, and I just have to put the dowel pin back in without breaking the glass. That is the hard part. Okay, the trick is, I believe, put it on while it's not on there and all being expanded. I was going to actually try to use a wire, just cut off a piece of wire and tried to use that in there, and it just didn't hold it together. But for some reason the dowel pin, which I put it on this plastic, had a paper towel underneath it, managed to tap it down, and it's working. But not easy. I just did not like having to, I got the smallest hammer I have and used that to tap it down, and it seems to have worked fine. So let's get the other weather stripping on and we can put this back in. So I realized I messed up when I was putting this together, and I wanted to show you guys the correct way. I'm not going to be able to fix this. It still works, but because I've already got that dowel pin through there, I'm not messing around with that again. If I try to take that out, put a new dowel pin in, I'll break something. So basically what I want you to do whenever you're putting your handle back together, this is the order that you want to have everything in. This is the cap that goes on the outside. We'll pretend that this is our glass. This is the piece that I should have put here, so that this piece could go into the hole in the glass, like so. I didn't do that. What I did was I actually had this piece out here, and so this was on top of that. I did it wrong. So when you're putting yours together, it's this piece. If you've got the thicker glass, it's the thicker gasket. Then it's the glass. Then it's this piece. Then it's this section here that has the Torx bolt through it. Then the spring washer. Then of course your spring, the cap, and the handle. So sorry about that. I hope it's not confusing, but it's this cap, the piece that raises up, that piece that raises up. So this acts as your gasket around the glass. This goes through to protect the glass itself. Then this is on the other side to protect it from this metal. So make sure if you're doing something like this, make sure you're doing it in this order. All right, I got the new seal on, and I gotta tell you, there is nothing about this that doesn't suck. There is no easy way. I had the detergent on here. I tried to use some plastic trim pieces so I wouldn't damage the rubber, but I mean, honestly, the only thing that works are screwdrivers. I had to push with all my might to get those wedged down into the crevices that are in there. I mean, and it's just not easy to do, but once you get them on there, you just inch by inch, you know, just get them in as best you can. It's just so not fun. If you're gonna, I mean, I understand now why somebody would just want to go and buy a whole new set of these, because this is stupid. Let's see if we can get this back together. Oh, this gets to just be such a mess. All right. All right, so you want to get it down to where it's just starting to stick out. Okay, you need this sort of weird looking one and then a regular washer. The weird looking one goes on top, the washer goes on bottom. This little flat piece goes towards the front, so always remember flat front. So again, if you were looking at the truck, that's the front. The flat piece goes there, this goes underneath it, and then you're going to slide that through, so they're going to go in here. Alright, so I've got it slid down. There's no way. Alright, part of my problem with this, the older one, that the glass is still intact, is it's not going all the way down into this track, and it's sticking out too far, and that's the reason why it's having trouble sliding in. So I'm going to see if I can clean this out and put in some new tape. I figure I've got it, so I might as well figure it out, because I got to do it with the other one, with the new glass comes. And as you can see, there's a little bit of rust down in there. So yeah, it's no wonder this wasn't fitting the best. We'll get this cleaned up and see if we can get that glass to fit better. So without the old weather stripping in there, you can see it fits in them a lot better. Not so much up here. I think I'm just going to continue to maybe tap a little bit on this, because it looks like it's coming up and then out. So I'm going to see if I can straighten this piece out. A few little love taps, and it's a lot straighter up here now. And yeah, look at that, fits a lot better. So this is fitting well. Now the question is, can I add this thickness to it and get it to fit just as well? That's going to be the hard part. All right, it's not very pliable as is, so what I figured I'd do is hang it up, get it a little round. That's not helping. still not very pliable. Slightly better than it was, but tape would be so much better with this. This is getting ridiculous. This stuff doesn't even come close to bending even when it was hot. It was just, it didn't really make it any more pliable. It just made it too hot to touch. So I figured I'd maybe set it on here with some clamps on it. Tried to tape it, tape didn't stick. I am over this. I think I might actually go get some windshield sealant, the black stuff, filled up this entire groove, put this glass in it, let it dry, and be done with it. Because I'm done fighting with the damn window. Okay, so I used some super weather strip adhesive, got it in there now. Gonna tape it up a little bit and let that dry, and then I can get back to work. But now at least I've got a good fit. Okay, I did manage to get it down in there. Helps that the glass was in. I'm gonna still leave the tape on there for a bit and let it set up, but for the most part it's in. Just need to get this lined up here so I can put in the rivet. Okay, I had to do some bending, but I did get it lined up enough to get the rivet in. I'm gonna let it sort of rest for a bit because this is all new rubber. I'm afraid if I try to start pounding on it, there's a piece that comes with it that basically allows you to flare it out, and I don't want to start tapping on it in case this is just still a little too stressed. So I'm going to let it rest for a little bit. Okay, while that is resting, I'm going to go ahead and assemble this again. I'm not going to put tension on it yet. Like I said, I still need to sort of figure out if this is going to work. And now even more fun goodness. I got to figure out how to get this in. And I believe this is the piece that goes at the bottom, because there's a little bitty hole right there for that to go into. No instructions or anything, so I'm guessing. This doesn't seem too bad. Let's see. Spoke too soon. Goes in pretty good on one side, but the other side not so much. Let me fiddle with this. Alright, I got this new track piece in. Flows pretty smooth. Time to get it back in the window or the door, I guess. trick is when getting this back in, not sure if you can see it, but I've got the window, making sure that the window is in the track down at the bottom, because if you don't have it in the track, when it comes up, it's going to cause some damage. So make sure that you're not just putting it back in, but you're getting the window aligned as well. Okay, so I've got the new vent window in. See if I can do this with one hand. This did not open before, so I'm very happy. It now opens, closes, and locks. So it's way better than it was. It's definitely going to help on the power tour, getting lots of air in. Once I get the glass, I can finish the other side. It's a good way to get air in without having to run the air conditioning. Hopefully keep me nice and cool. Yeah, pretty excited about this, but it was a lot of work. Holy smokes, that whipped my ass. There was nothing easy about that. I've heard the horror stories, but it was true. I will never tackle that again. I was this close to just buying an entire new set. If they weren't back ordered, I would have bought a new set of vent windows. That was crazy. All right, so I pretty much showed you point A to point B. The only thing I didn't show is putting the door card back on. But anything from taking the glass out, putting a new glass in, and I think when my new glass comes in for the driver's side, I'm going to use that adhesive, weather strip adhesive, because that rubber was just way too thick. But anyway, thanks very much for watching. If you got something out of it, please like it. If you have any questions, if I got anything wrong, leave a comment below. Subscribe if you can. Thanks very much for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.